Good evening, the Suffolk Graham here from Rand Nerds.
Zaber all.
Welcome to episode 238 of the Rand Nerds podcast.
Tons of episodes.
Hey, we're heading towards 250, a quarter of a millennium. I think
That's insane.
that is.
That's insane.
That is.
That's yeah. That's a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes. It is a lot of episodes, and I don't think there's any one of us who've actually been on every single one. Me and Skaz now level pegging because are we level pegging? No, I think he's still slightly ahead of me.
So he's done a couple on his own as well.
He's done 2 on his own.
All right.
But I've done 1 he couldn't do. I would do with somebody else, and then 1 I did solo. So I think me and him are now level pegging now in terms of episodes. But obviously he's done quite a few now. He's missed. Obviously he's now. I'm well ahead of him now because he's.
You are. I was just about to say.
I'm now quite far ahead. And so
well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed you'll be back at some point.
Fingers crossed.
And then you guys can do the whole, competing against each other and who has done the most episodes.
There's Zaber just in the background going, yeah, let's leave you two to mess around.
There's no way I can catch up. Not now, at least.
You never know. Never say never.
That's a lot of episodes, dude.
It is a lot of episodes.
And I need to do daily podcasts.
Yeah.
I'll be like, haha, you guys can only do once every other week. I can do them every day.
Yeah. Catch up eventually. It'll take a few years.
Few years? How many? You said, right, how many? 200 and what?
200 episodes, 238. So if you did one every, I suppose if you did
Not
one
even
every,
a year.
If you did one every year, that's scary thought, actually, isn't it? You can catch up to us in a year. That's a scary thought.
Just saying.
Challenge accepted.
No, not really. I don't actually. I have no idea what I would even talk about like every fucking day. That would be too much. Like,
yeah, I'm here again. Yeah, it's another day. Another podcast. Yay.
We'd have to like rename the podcast to the Ramblings of a Danish Man.
Yeah, Ramblings of a Danish Man. The Danish pastry.
Yeah,
so I said, I had spaghetti for tea tonight. Didn't play a game.
Huh?
No, I'm just saying this.
Yeah.
Go home tonight. All right. Going to work.
That what you think Danish people do? They just eat spaghetti and don't play games?
Well, I'm halfway there, aren't I?
Well, when I'm busy, I don't play games. But spaghetti, that's like that. It happens, but
It happens.
It happens.
I love what you say it like it's like some weird event that occasionally happens. It's all right. Spaghetti happens to everybody. It's just a thing. It's just a phase. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
It's a thing, but not a phase.
Yeah.
A phase is something you get over, like, or something that happens for a wee while. Spaghetti is not a phase. It's a thing.
He's going through his spaghetti phase.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have spaghetti every night, but he'll get over it one day.
No, never.
It's
like potatoes. You don't ever get over potatoes as well.
Potatoes are gorgeous.
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 That means they look well. Like they taste
nice. They taste. Tastes like
gorgeous.
Yeah, they taste gorgeous.
They're tasty.
They're very tasty. Can't beat some taters.
So, beer of choice again? Svanica.
Oh yes, I've got alcohol as well. Alcohol choice is Magnus.
And it's like I was a mind reader. I knew you had, so therefore I brought.
Mate, I can't go through podcasts without alcohol. It's a requirement. I'll still have to put up with it.
So that's how people know that if they ever meet us in real life, they'll be like, they don't really talk all that much. Yeah, it's because we hadn't had alcohol. We do for this.
We have at least 5 or 6 shots each before we start. Just sort of loosen ourselves up.
Per leg.
Yes. Just what you can't see, I've shot. There's an intravenous line into my vein, which is a constant shot of vodka coming in.
See, that's why I'm hiding this. People think I'm using in-ears. I'm actually not.
No,
I'm getting the alcohol right into my brain.
that's efficient. I like that
That's
setup.
smart. That's fucking smart.
That's like Danish engineering for you. That's what that is. Are there any I'm trying to think of any Danish sort of engineers. I can't think of any. Are there any famous Danish inventions?
Yeah. The guy who invented the atom bomb, dude.
Well, I mean, it's a collaborative effort.
Well, he was the one that took the credit for it, so.
Well, Oppenheimer, was Oppenheimer Danish?
No, wasn't it Niels Bohr?
Bohr was Oppenheimer's the one who's considered the father of the bomb, but he organised it all. It was always of this, but not Niels Bohr was. It was. I don't think it was any one person. There's a lot of people involved in all the different parts of it.
Well, either way, he was an engineer.
He was, and he
was famous.
And he. My favourite story about the atom bomb is there was a point that was considered, and they did eventually work out it wasn't possible. But there was a worry that if they set the atom bomb off, it might accidentally cause a chain reaction in the atmosphere and destroy the entire planet.
Okay.
Because the idea was it would like cause like a fusion runaway, and like cause the entire atmosphere to sort of like turn to superheated gas and kill everybody.
Now it's more in the sense if anyone ever uses it in war, the same thing will happen. Not with the atmosphere, but the world will be fucked.
Yeah. It'll be the most dangerous thing would be a nuclear winter. It'd be the more dangerous situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, where like it just throws all the dust up into the atmosphere, and the dust coats the atmosphere and causes the surface temperature to drop because the sunlight can't get through. And then everything dies.
Same with the ash cloud from a meteor, yeah?
Yeah.
If it's a big one.
Yeah, exactly the same principle.
Yeah.
Just the root cause is the same. The root cause is different. Yeah. Oh, well. On such cheery notes, we best start discussing things. So...
do we have things to discuss?
We have a couple of things. We have. Well, we
haven't even been through our half-hour rant.
Well, no, we haven't.
Random shit.
But Zaber, Zaber is very tired, and he looks like he's about to fall over. So,
I'm actually very tired today. Not kidding. Fucking really tired.
And we can't have a tired Danish man, and I can't end the podcast with just this plonk as I hear bang as Zaber falls forward into the microphone. And I just have a webcam asleep.
If I'm yawning at the same time, you can see the trajectory. Yeah. I'll be dethroned in the mic.
Yeah.
More than usual.
I have fallen asleep on podcasts before.
You have.
That was a back when we were doing when we used to do in person it was a Christmas podcast, and we broadcast one. We did it from Skaz's house. We broadcast one, all good. Then we thought we better record the Christmas one now in advance. We'll record it and then we'll have it and then we'll just upload it to YouTube. It's like, fine, that's what we're going to do. So we'll sit around. And bear in mind, in those days, we'd aim to start about 9:30. We normally start about 11 p.m. Because by the time we sat down, have a chat and have a drink and saw stuff and actually get going, and Skaz had fiddled with the audio and was happy with it. It was about 11 p.m. And then we would broadcast like an hour and a half. So it'd be gone midnight, approaching 1 o'clock time we finished. We decided we're going to do the Christmas one. So everything more drinks, a bit more of a chat, a little chill and so forth. I think we started recording the next podcast about 4 a.m. I'd been at work all day the day before, and I was tired before I even got there. And there's two of them discussing, because there's 3 of us at the time, there's 2 of them discussing it. And I just slowly slipped away. And I don't remember falling asleep, but I do remember waking up. And they were still going. And I don't know if Skaz noticed or not. I think he did. I didn't say anything, because he's a professional.
Of course he did. he noticed it because he's a professional.
Exactly. And then I was able to just jump in with my discussion for Christmas and end off, and I got away with it. But I then went back and when I did the show notes, I went back and listened to it. I was like, I don't remember any of this discussion. There's literally about 25 minutes that I do not remember happening, and I feel I got home about 6:30 in the morning, and I just went and I went straight to bed. So
I think I want to try like halfway falling asleep during anything that was going on live on the first 24 hour. I was so knackered, dude. That was at that point we took turns on having some sleep, and then Skaz just powered through.
Skaz is a machine, so
I've tried once that I was playing World of Warcraft. I fell asleep whilst doing. I think I was actually in the middle of a raid. I was tanking, and then I fell asleep. And I wake up to me having been kicked from the raid, and stuff. I don't know what had happened, but I wasn't a part of the group no more, at least.
Oh dear. It's worse when you all get half asleep, but you carry on doing stuff and don't realise it. There have been, at least in the past, several video edits that I've been gradually falling asleep while I'm doing, but I've managed to carry on editing, but I don't remember the edits. I get to the end and think, when did I finish this? And I go back and thought, well, this is actually okay. It's actually pretty good. There's a few things that need change. But
that's quite impressive, though.
Yeah, it's disturbing, though. It's like my edits are so simple and so basic that my brain can just run on autopilot and do them. It's like, it's just so shit that we can just switch. You don't even have to be conscious for us to do this properly. Off you go. That's happened. That's happened quite a few times. Not recently, but
Ed is so simple a monkey could do it.
Pretty much.
And then you just sat there fucking going on autopilot.
I have literally sat there like this at the screen, and I'm eyes are closed. I'm sat there and I'm just doing cuts and stop and pausing and stuff and switching cameras and stuff. And I wake up thinking, I finished it. When did I finish? What? I had like half an hour to go.
It was Santa, dude. It was Santa.
Well, Santa's apparently a good replacement editor for me. Check out Ram's Sleep Deprived Edited on by looking at the Games Night playlist on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/RyanNerds. So I thought we've got this couple of games. I've played a game, and there's a game that we've been playing between us for the last few weeks. So I thought we'd hit that one first.
Yeah,
and
we can do that.
Then I can talk about my game. You can have a snooze while we're doing it. So
yes.
So do you want to take us off?
I'll do a ram.
You do a ram. Go on, take us off then, Saber.
Skaz Saber. I've had my name has been done a little longer this time around.
If you Skaz had a love child, it would be Skazer.
Skazer, yeah.
Yeah, or Sab. Sab. That's like a car brand. Sab.
It is, yeah.
That's Saab. Unless you pronounce it Sab.
Sabe.
Sabe.
Yeah, it's the vowels, dude. They're weird in Denmark.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, that's what I say. Like if you learn the vowels, you can speak the language just fine. We've been playing this awesome game called Tina's one. What is it called?
You're making the same mistake I always do. The game is called
Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Yes, but I always want to call it Tina's Tiny Wonderland.
That's not what it is, because it's not a tiny land. It's a huge land, but she's tiny because the land is huge. So it's Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Yeah. Ha! But my brain keeps switching over every single bloody time.
Yeah. Yeah. I just passed out because I was on the spot. So yeah.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, we've been playing this game. It's I've not played the Borderlands games, but it has some connections to that, doesn't it?
So, Tiny Tina is a character in Borderlands. I think she was introduced in Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm pretty sure Borderlands 2. And she's a character. She's an orphan. Her parents were killed with people, and you basically do a quest for her. And she likes explosives. You do a quest for her where you capture somebody and strap explosives to them and blow them up.
Yeah.
and she was a fan favourite character. And so this is like a spin-off. The game is, the sort of background to the game is Titina's running a tabletop RPG game, like basically Dungeons and Dragons, but in the Borderlands universe. And there's other characters who aren't like in the main series, but there are other characters people who live in the Borderlands universe playing with her.
Well, can you remember what the game is called? Like the game that she plays, it's like something
Bunkers
in
and badasses.
Bunkers and badasses. That's it. Yeah.
The joke there as well is that in Borderlands, when you counter like normal enemies, but there'll be like elite versions of all the enemies, and those enemies are called badass something. So you have psycho enemies, and then you have badass psychos, and you'll occasionally get badass enemies. So that's why they're what's called badasses.
That's why we had a badass crab.
It was a badass crab, yeah.
It was a badass something crab. Yeah. That game, there's like I said, I've not played the Borderlands games. I really want to try them out, though, because the humor is absolutely amazing in this game. The voice acting is phenomenal. Graphics are beautiful. The gameplay, amazing. I'm very, very impressed with this game. Really. I'd never heard about that. I'd heard about the Borderlands games. Kind of brushed them off, being like, nah, about them. Probably shouldn't have. But that game, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And I like the whole randomized weapon thing they have going on. So when you go to like a vending machine and you want to buy new weapons, even from the drops as well, it's completely random what stats they're gonna get. Well, they're equal to like they have an item level or something like that. And then, so it's not like you get a item level 1 with like 1,000,000 attack power or something like that.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, but it's randomized within a certain margin. And there's some pretty interesting weapons. For example, I had one. Seems like when you shoot it, it has some kind of like poisonous thing going on. And whenever you reload, you take the magazine out and throw it in the ground. Wherever you're aiming, that's where it's going to land. And then 3 like worms or something like that come out of the ground and start shooting at enemies.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, very inventive, some of the guns. I have one that now as well, that when I reload it, the magazine gets thrown and it flies into the air and starts flying around and shooting things and before it explodes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really neat. Sprouts wings and off it goes.
Yeah,
it's basically a completely reskinned Borderlands game. Play propose it's reskinned Borderlands with a fantasy theme.
But it has this thing, with the fantasy theme, because it has this thing. It feels a little bit like a dungeon crawler in a certain sense, because you are also like in between the dungeons or whatever the scenarios you get into in the game. You then control your characters like in a tabletop type thing where you can walk around.
Yeah.
So from a top down view, which is really genius made. It's awesome. And then you can pick up quests and stuff, and then go into other dungeons, like small little scenario type things, and do things as well, and kill certain amount of mobs, and then you're done with that. It's I think it's really well made.
It is. It's very. It's refined. Obviously, they've had quite a few years to refine the formula, because this came out. They've had 3 main Borderlands games, to refine the formula, and this is obviously effectively the 4th one. The overworld thing is specific to Tina's Tiny Wonderlands. That's specific to that. That's not something you have in the other Borderlands games. The other ones you just sort of move around from area to area to area. But the overall mechanics are identical. So as Zaber says, weapons are randomised. So you can pick up weapons and kill. You basically the missions are all basically sort of fairly grindy. It has like when you shoot people, you get like sort of. I'm trying to think. Do you get? In normal Borderlands, when you shoot people, you actually see like hit points. They'll show the damage appears above them as you're doing it. Like they'll like hit points will bounce out of them almost, like in old school like RPGs. I don't think this one does that. It shows like critical hits and stuff.
It always shows me what damage I deal, like when I shoot.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not. No, maybe I've just sort of phased it out.
You probably have, because it doesn't matter if it's a crit or not. It will always show me what I deal in damage.
Yeah, I must just be mentally phasing it out. That's a Borderlands thing. Or even down to like how all the vending machines work, or just reskin vending machines from Borderlands. Humor-wise, Borderlands humor is very hit or miss. The first one relies an awful lot on using sort of very pop culture, like internet memes of the day, and it's probably not aged. Its humor's probably not aged brilliantly, because Borderlands originally started, it was going to be quite a realistic looking game. They were like doing like sort of like gruff, sort of like very generic shooter type game, and then at some point they just thought, fuck it, let's just do a complete difference. That's what they did, like the sort of faux shell shaded style graphics, and they redid how they made the weapons just do crazy things. So you can pick up a shotgun that fires rockets, for example, and just randomly, or cannonballs.
It has this very cartoony feel.
Yes, that is Borderlands as well. Borderlands went down that route. It was going to be quite a sort of generic, real, air quotes, realistic sort of style look, sort of serious sort of graphics and stuff. But they thought, nah, let's just make it fun. And they properly leaned into it. So they leaned into the comedy, leaned into the humour. One thing this game hasn't got, which Borderlands does have, is Borderlands has got, the levels are bloody huge. In Borderlands, you don't really have an overworld. You have like big areas, and you have vehicles as well that you can drive around in and spin across. And so
in Borderlands, it's more open world.
A lot more open world. Yeah, there are like it's that ilk of where each level is massive, but then there'll be like they'll have like loading screens between different areas. So like it's not like fully open world, but the levels are big enough that you'll be able to pick up a vehicle, and in co-op you can have like one person driving, one person gunning, and just sort of spin around. And whereas this one, each level's it's a lot more self-contained levels. Each level's a lot more sort of like fight zone is a lot tinier. Things like how there's level only one where we have to go to that cut. We have to like sort of break that siege on the outskirts. Think how big that level was. That's how every level of Borderlands is. That sort of scale. So big.
The one that we finally got to here at the end.
No, to the one that we went to Brighthoof in, where we had to break the siege.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know how big that level was.
Yeah.
That's like a Borderlands level, normal size.
All right.
So pretty darn big.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like you said, they're more contained. There's not that. It feels more like scenario type things in Tiny Tina, because you have to go through the portals to go to a new place all the time. So even some of the maps or very, it seems like they're sort of kind of reused and not all that big when you get into these scenarios through the portals and you have to do certain things. But with that said, though, like I said, I haven't tried the Borderlands, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but I don't mind it, though. I don't mind it. No. It feels more like a dungeon crawler in the sense.
Yeah, well, Borderlands is, yeah.
Yeah. So it's but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun because the gunplay is really fun. The shooting combo is very fun. The fact that all weapons are randomised. When you get a really good weapon, it's like when the random number gods roll in your favour and you get a weapon that's like, this is just insane. It's brilliant. You don't want to get rid of it. When you get, but then obviously you do find weapons though, and this is also a Borderlands thing, is a lot of weapons are just crap. They are basically, so you will have a lot of faff, and you will find situations where you can't, the amount that gets dropped, you can't pick it all up, and you will end up having to sort of like run back and forth and send it off and so forth. But
the thing is, like, I don't know if Borderlands does the same thing, but in Tiny Tina, where we have a special ability that we can activate and we can use, plus a spell, that really helps with that kind of stuff
Yeah.
because for as an example, I play in Tiny Tina. I play the Berserker class or Berserker as it's
So,
called.
yeah.
Yeah. And we have swords, yeah,
Yeah.
or big weapons.
Yeah.
And I can do like for the people that know the warrior class in World of Warcraft that can do the blade storm. I can do that. I can do that with that thing, or I can send myself flying like a heroic leap type thing
Yeah.
toward my enemy. That one kind of sucks though, because you'll only hit them once.
Yeah.
Whereas with the blade storm type, I can't remember what the ability actually is called, but in Tiny Tina. But that one's amazing because even if my weapon don't deal necessarily, I can't shoot fast, but I deal a reasonable amount of damage when I shoot. I have like 4 mobs running through me, toward me. I shoot at one of them. I managed to kill one of them off, and now I have 3 mobs right in front of me.
Yeah.
I just do the fucking blaze storm, and everything dies.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying.
So that is a Borderlands thing. Your characters had abilities, and each have like a sort of unique ability. Now they only had one. The original Borderlands, and I just only had each character only had a ability. That was like a special one. So I played a guy who was a sniper in Borderlands. Mordecai, I think was his name. And
All right.
his ability was he had a pet bird called Bloodring, and he would basically launch the bird off, and it would fly around, and it would just target your enemies and stuff. And it was brilliant because he'd shoot, and all you see was "Give him hell, Bloodring!" He'd shout, and he'd go flying off, and you could upgrade him to do like poison damage and stuff. A bit like, because I've now got a little pet Wyvern, and a bit like that, but rather than being around all the time, he only activated when you activate your ability. And yeah, you just sort of watch him as he flies off, and then all you see is in Borderlands, you just see that when they like use acid damage, you just see for almost just sort of dissolve into nothing. It's really good fun. But they all have that sort of ability, but they only had one each, whereas you have the option to switch. Now I played a character class called the Stabomancer, because that's just, I love the names in this game. Stabomancer's brilliant. And my abilities are I have like a blade that I place and it spins round, and I can reposition it within the time frame before it cools down and runs out. But my secondary ability is basically I go into stealth, and all my attacks are criticals but deal less damage. And I personally find the blade one just feels better.
That one's amazing because you can replace it like throughout the duration of it.
And it lasts quite a long time. It seems
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So I much prefer that over than the stealth one. Yeah, I preferred it. But yeah, it's definitely, if you play Borderlands 1 after playing this, you'll feel very familiar. Obviously, this feels a slightly more refined version because they've had several iterations to do it. But it is really good. The levels like being reused, that's a Borderlands thing as well. But in Borderlands, the big maps, you get side quests, and all side quests would be you'd re-enter to a zone, and the enemies would automatically fully respawn. So you clear a whole zone out, you then go away. If you then went back into it to like do like a side quest, they'd all be back. And the enemies also level based on your level automatically, no matter what. And and they also level based on how many people are in your party, which I'm assuming Tiny does as well. So they will level up based on who they'll have more health each.
Yeah,
thing. But yeah, I'd say it's a very refined Borderlands. I was surprised how when you talked about it, I knew it was like a spin-off to Borderlands, but I was surprised how similar it was going to be. But yeah, the humour is brilliant. I love it, and the amount of voice. It's so high production. The amount of voice actors they've got it. Like Will Arnett voices the main antagonist called the Dragon Lord. And he's perhaps I know him from. He was the voice of. Have you watched the Lego Batman film?
Yes.
He voices Lego Batman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he is the main voice actor for BoJack Horseman on Netflix.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. he voices he voices that, which is quite weird because that's what I hear is BoJack Horseman whenever I whenever I hear Dragonlord speaking. But yeah, the humour's on point. It's just that sort of like absurd humour. The storyline is just, I mean, insanity. I mean, we destroyed an ocean. That's just amazing. That's just like I did not see that coming, and off we go.
Yeah.
It is a really good game. I would like it, perhaps not the next game after this, but perhaps a bit further down the line, we should go back and play the original Borderlands.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, it won't be as
And
refined.
I know a certain someone that used to be part of this group that would really love to do them too. So
Well, there we go.
maybe it should be a thing.
I think it should be a thing.
Yes.
It's definitely enough to go back to and give a try future on. But yeah, but no, I've really enjoyed Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Oh God! Even now, I've been typing. I typed the show notes as we go, and immediately after we had the discussion, the first thing I did was write Tina's Tiny Wonderland, and I just can't get it.
Yeah, but you put an S in the Wonderslands. I was like, what the? How much alcohol have you had, dude?
Tina, no, not
Tiny
Tina.
Tina.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Exactly.
Yeah. My brain just doesn't make sense. It says this is the wrong way round. It should be Tina's Tiny Wonderland. It's like, no. Tina's Wonderland.
It's not a tiny Wonderland. It's a huge land.
It's pretty tiny.
Is it?
Well, yeah, it's in game, isn't it? So it's going to be like a little. See, I thought it was like their little like tabletop, isn't it? I like all the characters in it as well. They're not obnoxious, because some Borderlands has a habit of very much issue on the side of obnoxious characters. There's also a character in it who either you love or you hate in Borderlands. It's a character called Claptrap, who's a little robot who you either find him hilarious or you absolutely hate the character, and you usually flip between the two. And he's this little robot who's basically insane, and he'll ask you for help and stuff. I will say, so one of the nice little thing about Borderlands episode, why I like Borderlands devs, one of the things they did, which was really quite cool. Sad, it's very sad what they had to do, but they did was also quite sort of neat as well. Borderlands, between Borderlands 1 and 2, one of the fans of Borderlands, unfortunately, he was a character and he passed away. He died. He was a fan. So one of his mates wrote to Gearbox and asked them if they could do something with him. So Gearbox got Claptrap to the guy, voice actor of Claptrap basically wrote him a eulogy and voiced it. Yeah, I'll put a link in the show notes. You can hear this eulogy to this chap. And then they put him as a character in Borderlands 2.
Wow.
And when you encounter him, he'll just give you automatically high level gear. It's like a random chance. He'll give you for your level, really good gear for your level.
All right.
And he'll just give it to you. It's his character in there. So he's sits there forever. He's they've made it all different. And it was such a neat, very touching thing to do. I'll send you the link after the podcast. And I'll put a link in the show notes. But that's all made me like the Gearbox dev.
I love it. I love when devs do stuff like that. I really love stuff like that. That's a really cool thing.
Yeah, and it's really sad listening to it. When you listen to it, it's really sad. Because it's quite a sad situation. But it's also done respectfully and with a bit of humour as well. Also, you get to hear Claptrap's actual real voice actor, which sounds completely different to the character in the game, but that's also quite amusing. But yeah, Borderlands 1 is probably my favourite of the Borderlands. Borderlands 2, they upped the ante and everything, but it was too big of a game. I struggled to get into Borderlands 2. And Borderlands 3, I really disliked the antagonists in Borderlands 3. So Borderlands 1, the antagonist is a very sort of like evil corporation coming back to, because I like the backstory of Borderlands is you're on a planet that is like has a very long winter and summer cycle, and everybody colonized this planet was mining it and doing the winter cycle, and it was quite nice and everybody made use of it. Then it goes into its like summer phase, and suddenly all the local wildlife wakes up and it's very hostile. So all the people who can afford to leave. And the people who are left behind are like the people who just can't afford to get off site, or they're like leftover employees who can't, they're abandoned by their corporations. And they can't leave. So that's all the backstory to Borderlands. Borderlands 2 expands on that, and people like sort of forming colonies and stuff. But they basically bring back a character who is one of these corporations like head bosses, and he comes back to as your antagonist. Borderlands 3 kind of ruins the whole premise, because Borderlands 3 you get a spaceship where you can fly around from planet to planet on, and it just all ruins the whole thing. And the antagonists of it, they were trying to riff off YouTubers. So your two like sort of main antagonists, at one point they all like they basically act like influencers. So they'll like they like capture one of your allies, and you get to see it from the film, like the video point of like their camera, and after they capture them, show them all taken down, they go, and if you've liked this, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. And it's and it just that didn't really work. So Borderlands 1 is definitely the best of, in my opinion, Borderlands 1 is the best Borderlands. Having said Tina's Wonderland goes back to that sort of more early one. It works really well, and I'm sort of like really hyped. I'm looking forward to playing and enjoying the next level in it and doing the next mission.
Yeah.
Not too thrilled by the fact that we've now got to sort of grind some levels. That I'm not too thrilled by.
No.
Because I don't like...
It didn't say we couldn't enter. It was just a warning saying, hey, by the way, this next part of the main story thing is quite a bit higher level than what you are right now.
Knowing Borderlands leveling, that'd be deadly.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing how Borderlands leveling works is absolutely deadly. So that I'm not too thrilled by, but I'm looking forward to playing. I'm looking forward to like our next session in a couple of weeks' time. I'm really looking forward to it. And you can check out that session on Wednesday. Yes, you can check out on Wednesday the 4th. I should have planned this in advance, Zaber. On Wednesday the 14th of March. 14th of March.
No,
you can check out.
No.
Yes.
Wednesday the 13th.
No, 14th.
The 14th is a Thursday, yeah.
Hang on a second. It's because on my calendar it was showing February. And so I was going by February dates. So you can check out the next one on Wednesday the 13th of March.
First try.
Note to Nicholas, edit this bit out. Note to Rab, edit this bit out. You can... so yeah, pick up the 13th of... On the 3rd... Oh, fucking hell. I've only had a can and a half, Zaber.
There's a lot of editing going on in this one,
editing. Who does editing? That's your problem. Well, it's not really, because you don't do that bit. You just make it sound good. That's all. And that's all people really want, really, from it. Wednesday, March the 13th, at 8:30ish, on. You can check out twitch.tv/randnerds, or you can check my channel, twitch.tv/SuffolkGram. They'll both show you the same thing. And you can check out our next session as we try and hopefully get enough levels that we can actually go into the next area and actually kick some ass. Yes. Good. Right. Games.
But yeah, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Awesome game. Yeah. I'm very much enjoying it.
Yeah. Tina's Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Yeah, really good. Link in the show notes. Enjoy. Okay. So, I've also been playing. This is a game that I have discussed on podcasts before, but a very long time ago. And what made me go back to it is the fact that I've been watching. I mentioned I've been watching the series For Mankind, which is about sort of going into space and stuff, and the alternative universe where the space race didn't stop
That's the one you were talking to me about
last time.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've been so that sort of got me back into like sort of ideas, space and ships and going stuff. So I've been playing a game called Kerbal Space Program.
I've seen that one. I've seen that game actually.
It's almost not a game. It's almost more like a simulator. And basically, the idea is you're set on the planet Kerbal in a solar system, and basically the planet Kerbal is a stand-in for Earth. The whole solar system is like standing for our planets in our solar system. So like, you have the Moon, MUN, Moon, which is our moon. There is an equivalent of Mars. Yeah, there's equivalent of like Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, all sorts. It's basically a copy of it's literally like a map of our solar system, including down to like roughly the orbit times and so forth. It's sort of like one to one, sort of almost like a copy. And the idea is you are in charge of the Kerbal Space Program. So you have basically got to build rockets and ships and send them up into space and do things. There's two modes. There's a career mode. The original mode was Sandbox, which the game was in early access for quite some time. The Sandbox mode where you can just like plunk these things together, or there's like a career mode where you can like develop and unlock and do stuff. So I'm playing the Sandbox mode, which is still quite challenging because you still have to. It's not like this. You still have to work with the rules of the game. Although yes, everything's unlocked. There's no like sort of like monetary limits to you. You still have to build the ships right. So it's basically sort of set into two sections. You have like a spaceship building section, a vehicle assembly building as they call it, where you can build your ship. So you have to like put rockets together, put like engines on the rockets. Decide, are you going to use a solid fuel rocket or a liquid fueled rocket? Put like a command module on, and you build a rocket basically, and then you could take that rocket to the launch pad and launch it and try and fly it. And it's really fun game. As a sandbox thing, it's really fun because it does teach you. You have to basically learn orbital mechanics. I fly from place to place, so. The rocket source center building is quite neat. You have like you can also like source stage your rockets as well, which is quite neat. So you could basically assemble your rocket, but you could put like sort of links between what they call stages between each section. So like in real world, like let's take the space shuttle as an example. Space shuttle had a liquid filled rocket and two solid boosters. The solid boosters, and liquid fuel was the big like orange tank, which the shuttle was attached to, and the solid fuel boosters were the two white ones on the side, if you imagine the space shuttle. And as they flew up, the solid fuel ones would get you going, they then fall away, then the liquid fuel one would get them the rest of the way, and then they'd drop that off, and then they'd be in orbit in space. So you can basically assemble your ships by just literally sort of putting and clinking together parts, and if you link them together in the right way, so like if you get like say two full tanks linked together, they'll like double the fuel. And you can also put like couplings on. The couplings will basically allow separation, so you can fit the station because you don't want to carry. Because it's based pretty much on realistic spaceship physics, where weight is pointless if you don't need it. So you have to carry a full tank up. But as soon as you can, you get rid of that full tank. Because that's just weight you're just carrying around. So like you see in like real life spaceships which will drop stuff away, you can do that in this game. You can stage it. So you set staging up. And like the most basic sort of like rocket you want to do is to launch a rocket, fly it, go into orbit round Kerbal, and then come back down and hopefully have a nice safe touchdown. But the fact is, the physics in it are pretty good, are very realistic. So, if you don't know about space flight, when you launch a rocket, you don't go straight up. That's you can, but it's a stupid way to do it. What you actually do is you go up and then you turn and you lean over because you want to get into an orbit. An orbit, without going into too much detail, is a fancy way of constantly falling and missing the ground. Things that are in orbit aren't things that are in orbit aren't like in zero gravity. They're being pulled by our gravity still, but because the angle they're flying at, they constantly miss the Earth and constantly don't hit. So you do this gravity turn where you like launch and you sort of have to lean over, and if you lean over, you'll basically start entering into an orbit, which you can then sort of orbit around the planet and follow it around, and you can then sort of like change your orbit by thrusting the right places. And that physics is realistically based, so you can like thrust, if you thrust like at your the right parts of your orbital mechanics, you can like sort of adjust your orbit and how big it is and stuff, to the point where like the players who play this game will actually start, if they want to like, there are like, you can download like mods for the game that'll basically do like the calculations for you. But if you want to do it yourself, you can. And there are people like will like links. There are lots of like, okay, read this document here. This will explain how all real life auto mechanics work, and they all work in this game as well. So
that's actually sick. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's complicated, but like, if you want to download, I'm sort of like trying to, like I say, you can download a mod that'll basically do all the working out for you. I'm trying to sort of like have a go by actually doing the calculations myself. So I've got like a spreadsheet set up now, the relevant calculations. I'm sort of inputting figures to work it out. There are tools to help you. So say, for example, you want to, you've got yourself into, you've managed to not explode on the rocket launch pad. You've managed to get yourself into space and you're orbiting around Kerbal and you want to go to the moon. You want to do a moon landing. So you want to head to Mun, as it's called in Kerbal. There is like a tool you can put down which will like work out and calculate, and you have to calculate how long you're going to run your engines for, your burn, so forth. So I gave myself a little project. My little project. Have you seen the film The Martian? With Matt Damon, where he's trapped on Mars.
Yes, but hang on a sec. And that's the one where he finds. No, that's not the one.
So he basically, his crew.
I've seen some of it. I think I've seen some of it.
That's a really good film. It's also a very scientifically accurate film. There's a couple bits which aren't right, but it's very accurate in many ways. And in The Martian, because the thing about space is all about circles really and ellipses. So you want to land on the moon. So what do? You basically increase your orbit, so your orbit gets big enough to the point where your orbit intersects the moon's orbit, and then you need to plan it. So when your ship is at the point where it's going, where the ship's at the point that's right distance away from the moon, where the moon is there, so it captures into the moon's gravity, then it can land. It's all about ellipses. Well, in The Martian, they use their way of going back and forth to Mars is based on a real life idea, which I think was proposed by Buzz Aldrin, one of the original moon landing astronauts. Rather than send a ship to Mars and like fly it back, which is a long way, you set a ship that's in an orbit around both planets, both our planet Mars, and it's in a constant orbit around both of them. And then what you do, if you want to go to Mars, you launch from Earth and you just dock with the ship. And this ship just carries you all the way there. And then you undock and you land. And then when you want to leave Mars, you do the same thing. You wait for the ship to come past again. You fly up, meet it, dock, and come back. And that's the ship in the Martian. That's how their ship works. Their ship basically cycles around both.
All right.
And my little project is to set up this process in Kerbal Space Program by building a ship and launching it, so I can orbit around both. So I can basically move stuff back and forth to Mars and back. I can't think if it's called Dura in Kerbal Space Program. That's my little project. It's not going well, if I'm honest. My first
Well,
The first time I built my Mars, I first of all, I'm going to just try and build a ship that will get me to orbit round Mars and come back, so I don't strand my Kerbal space. Because your ship, you can fill your ship with little Kerbal astronauts, and if you do it wrong, they end up getting stuck in orbit somewhere, and they're just trapped there forever. I don't want to trap them there forever, so I thought I'll build a ship that's big enough that will get me up into the atmosphere, that they can then fly around Mars and they can come back. That was my first plan. I managed to completely screw up my orbit the first time I tried, and my orbit was very high, but I also pointed straight back down Earth, so my ship was going to go really far away, then immediately turn back around and come straight back Earth, back Kerbin, and crash land. Not good. I did give them a parachute though, so they could parachute down.
did they then? Did they parachute down, or did
Yes,
they
I
die?
managed to parachute them down and retrieve them. They'd end up in the middle of the ocean somewhere, but I managed to retrieve them. So second attempt was basically, and it's because you can control it by default it's mouse and keyboard, but I've got a joystick and stuff, so I was also flying with joystick and stuff. And the game has got, you can also like, the game has like, your Kerbals can be like set to sort of like steer the ship for you, if you want to. So my second attempt to orbit, I got them into orbit, but I got them into an orbit that was like completely the wrong plane. So if you imagine you want the orbit to be like with Mars, you want it, or Dura, sorry, I think it's called Dura. You want to be, your orbit wants to be like going around the crater at a slight angle. I managed to get so it was going round the polar cap. So it's like, instead of being like, if you call the crater, the plane around the crater like at angle 0, I was like at angle 90, so pointing the other way. This, I appreciate it's hard to, it's not so easy to visualize. But basically, I was, instead of going around the nice warmer crater, at one point I'd be going between the North Pole and I'd be orbiting the South Pole instead. That wasn't a great angle to be. And it turned out all my fuel, because the game works in a fuel type called, not full type, in a type. See, all things in space, they all rely on your speed. What speed do you need to do? How much acceleration do you need to do to change what you want to do? When you're in space, it all comes down to speed and acceleration. And the basic method of this is the posh term for is delta V is the posh term. So
Delta what?
delta V.
Delta
for Vita. V for velocity. Delta V. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're orbiting at like 4,000 kilometers away from the Earth. If you want to increase that orbit by 2 kilometers, you need to expend 2 kilometers worth of delta V to accelerate to increase your orbit by that much. So to get to the moon, for example, you need to basically form this other orbit around the moon, and you use what's called a Hoffman transfer orbit, which is a real thing done by NASA and European Space Agency and Roscosmos. It's a real thing that they do, and it's the most efficient way of changing orbit. So to get to the moon from Kerbin is like you need to use 854 meters per second of delta V to do it, which is a lot. And so your ship's all rated in how much delta V they can produce. And my ship, it turned out, despite the fact it looked quite big, wasn't anywhere near enough to get where I wanted to go. I could deal with a one-way trip to Jupiter, but I didn't think my Kerbals would want a one-way trip to Jupiter. It's not a nice planet to be around. But if you want to learn orbital mechanics and how spaceships actually work, Kerbal Space Program is really good. It's great fun to just throw together a rocket with, like, fairies and stuff, and just like without really sort of any planning, throw it together and just see if you can launch into space. That's just great fun as well. And you get it wrong if you get too far, and you have to deal with things like the atmosphere. So if you accelerate too quickly, you'll overheat and you'll explode. And it's got some great great graphics on it as you do that as well. Like you just watch your walker get hotter and hotter. And
Is it Kerbal Space Program 1 or 2?
one I'm playing. There is a Kerbal Space Program 2, but I already own one. I've not tried Kerbal Space Program 2.
Oh,
I was
just checking out whether or not it was on sale.
It's a great educational tool. It'd be a great thing to play with kids. If you've got young kids, it'd be a great thing to play. Let's build a rocket and see if we get to space. Oh, it's blown up. Oh dear. It's very, very neat. It's got a good sense of humour. All the little aliens are all called Kerbal. So you've got Warner von Kerbal. Who's also based on a Warner von Braun, who was when the World War II ended, the Americans, and not just Americans, lots of other countries as well, basically the Nazis developed some quite advanced equipment, like the V rockets and so forth. And all the sort of like scientists who'd done it for the Nazi parties, a lot of companies basically went to them and governments went and said, look, you come do your work for us, and we'll pretend all the things you did during the World War didn't really happen. So Warner von Braun, and it's debatable how much he knew about what was going on. He basically, and if you've watched For Mankind, this comes up in episode 2 of For Mankind. He basically, depends who you ask how much he knew and stuff, because his V rockets were being built by slave labour, basically. But they brought him over, and he's pretty much responsible for the American space program. Guessing where it got. So it's a bit of juice. Anyway, without getting into politics, Warner von Kerbal is the guy for it. And there's also a Gene Kerbal, who's named after Gene. Oh, what was his name? He was one of the early astronauts as well. Gene. Not Hackman, he's an actor. But Gene Kerbal basically, he basically sort of advised you of flights and stuff. It's a very neat game. It's more of a it's more like a simulator than anything else, rather than a gameplay. But it's just great fun, sort of like, okay, I've completely fucked this up. How do I unfuck it? Or, well, guys, you're in orbit now. You ain't coming back, and there's nothing I can do. It's really, really neat. And you can, but the base game that is shown rockets, you can also design like shuttles and stuff as well, and have like reasonable ship stuff. You can like build space stations and all sorts. It's a really neat, in-depth game. So it's more of a simulator. But yeah, if you've got young kids, it's very complicated as well. Unless you can download mods that will basically make it really easy for you to do the calculations for you. But I want to learn it myself and sort of try and get my head around all the mechanics. But it's a real fun, neat little game. And if you're interested in space or anything like space, it's really good fun. When you realise how complicated it is, it's really good fun to play around with. So,
all right,
that's Kerbal Space Program.
Kerbal Space Program. If you want to be an astronaut,
if you want an astronaut and try and land on the moon and not fall over.
Not the moon. The moon.
As both the mun. As both.
The mun.
I think
fly me to the mun.
I think is it Japan, and recently Japan launched a moon mission with a lander, which unmanned lander, and it fell over. And NASA, it was a NASA contracted company, but there was a private company. They also managed to land on the moon and fell over. And the first time I tried to land on the moon in Kerbal Space Program, I fell over. It's a bit awkward when you fall over because you can't get up again. So, not easily anyway. Try
and like when you have had a few pints too many.
Yeah, well, because trying to land on the moon, because you basically have no atmosphere to slow you down, you have to just use your rocket to sort of like slow you down. So you have to but you mustn't accelerate too much, otherwise you'll end up going back up, and then you run out of fuel and fall down. But you must sort of like gradually reduce your throttle as you come down to a landing so that you hit the ground with very slow speed. Because initially, when you're flying down to the ground, you're going really fast. You need to put lots of acceleration in to slow you down. But you don't want to like reverse, start going back up. So you have to gradually slow your acceleration down the whole time as you come into landing. It's really difficult. I mean, it gives you a whole new respect for like the.
Can you just for the piss of it just go all like full manual and just try like see if you can do all this stuff on your own without the calculations?
Oh, absolutely, Zaber. I was landing by myself. That's why I fell over. I managed the first time I did it, I completely fucked up. The second time I did manage to get I landed on the moon. I made it. But I fell over.
Bad design. Bad design.
No, I just landed. I landed. Okay, it was doing quite well. Came down for landing, but it wobbled a little bit and then fell over.
Yeah.
And my poor little Kerbal was stuck because it couldn't launch again. And I think the Kerbal's
meaning
dead.
He died.
He died.
Oh,
he died.
I just punched my table and everything shook.
He died. The poor Kerbal died.
Oh.
But he died for science. And what more noble event can that be?
That don't make it any.
He knew what he was doing. He knew what he got into when he signed up. When he signed up to Suffolk Ground Space Program, Suffolk Ground Industries, he knew what he signed up for.
Suffolk Ground Industries?
Yes. When he signed up, he knew what he was getting into. But it's okay. His family got a nice little buffet at his wake. And we even had a pretend funeral for him. Because obviously his body's up in smart moon, so we can't get it back. But one day we might do. One day we might retrieve it. And then his family can have an actual funeral. We don't talk about the ones who are currently orbiting Jupiter. They aren't coming back either. And they're just going to starve to death. Slowly.
Very slowly.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Kerbals die because I think they thought having your Kerbals starve to death would not be a fun part of the game. So I think your Kerbals basically, as long as they don't explode, they just live forever.
Is this where we're gonna start doing like the Stargate analogy, like with the ancients that ascend?
Yeah,
to a plane of existence where there's pure energy.
I think Kerbals ascend to a new plane of existence.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Yeah. But yeah. Kerbals, check out.
Sorry for all the Stargate analogies as of late. I did it yesterday in the game night as well. I'm in the middle of a Stargate fucking run through.
You can do as many I love Stargate. You can do as many Stargate analogies you want. Stargate is like one of my all-time favorite sci-fi series.
It is. It's so good. But it's the Atlantis one. I'm in the middle of the third season right now. And it's so good.
I like Atlantis.
All you kids that fucking watch shit on Netflix and whatnot, you guys are spoiled. Because when you watch a season of something, it's like 8 episodes. When I have to go through something like that on Stargate or Stargate Atlantis or Stargate Universe, it's 20-something episodes.
24 normally.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So and those are like 45 minutes per episode. So GG.
That's great. I mean, I remember I got into Stargate. I was very late to Stargate. I didn't get into Stargate till season 7.
Oh, that was late.
But here's the thing. We have a broadcast in the UK called Sky. And they're basically a satellite TV network.
Yeah.
And we had Sky for some time. And Sky was, at the time, Sky 1, as it was, they'd be the people who tend to get all the new series from America.
Yeah.
So you don't have to Stargate, they had X-Files, they could get all the new stuff come over. So, but what they would do is, every weekday at 5 o'clock, they'd play like an old series. So they would like go for all the next generation. For example, they went for all the Next Generations. Every day at 5 o'clock, you could watch Next Generation episode. And so you basically, over the course of a month, you go through like the entire season, pretty much. But at one point, they started playing the Stargate ones, and I started watching them from like when they saw like started. I watched them, and gradually, I caught up to series. Series 7 was then broadcasting, and I was watching that as well, and gradually caught up to series 7 because obviously they're doing an episode every day. So and it was great fun watching it. Stargate's so good. It's so good.
When I think I had seen, like, because I was a big fan of the movie,
Yeah.
there's been talk about actually rebooting the whole thing, making so called like a trilogy movie. I don't know how far they are into that stuff or if it's actually happening, but it's been in the talks for like many years now.
I kind of don't want them to do that though, because to me it's Stargate, then it's SG-1.
Yeah, but it's then again it's an old show. Like I actually want to see what they could do with it. If they do it right. It could be so awesome with all the new graphics and all the new stuff.
It is.
Having said that, though, the with Atlantis, they became so good with their visuals.
Oh yeah.
But although, with that said, if people watch it now, they're probably gonna say, "Oh, that's crap." Like, what's with the visuals?
But
it's so good.
I think they could still do now because the SG-1, the Stargate program, as in like the in-universe, the program where they go through the Stargate, the universal, that doesn't end. The end of Stargate, SG-1 is them just walking through the gate again. It doesn't. It's not like it's shut down or anything. So that is still going. There's no reason why they couldn't now launch a new series or whatever, where we follow a new SG team going through the Stargate, but sort of contemporary, sort of like, because it was Stargate 1 was contemporary at the time. You could do the same one, and it's like, this is where we are now. We've got like an extra sort of like 15 years of technological advancements. Here we are. We defeated the Orvari. A new threat comes.
To be honest, dude, if they were to continue on what's already there, I would have loved for them to continue with the Universe series.
Agreed.
It was so good. It just got so good toward the end.
It did.
And then it got cancelled, and then they had to like quickly end the season.
The trouble was they put so many people off, and I got fed up with all like the drama of like they tried to make it more mature by having a lot more character drama.
I loved that.
Did you? I got really bored with that.
I loved it. Because it became a little more dark. And the whole human aspect of being trapped on a spaceship. What does that do to you after like month after month after month?
That's good.
With
I
the
like
same
that.
people. Yeah, but it stirred shit in people's heads, and some people cracked under it, and just seeing that aspect of it come into it as well, and how like it'll like mentally would drain people. I think that was like it made it more real.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. I loved the cast for it as well. It was so good. I think my favorite of all of them has to be Atlantis. I love that one.
Yeah, I get that.
But I'm this close to saying that I like Universe almost as much.
I liked Atlantis particularly when the first season, when they're all by themselves, they're literally just stuck out there and they've got no backup. They've got no way of help. And they're all by themselves. And you see them going towards the threat of the Wraith and they don't know what to do. They realise they're basically... And they manage to figure out a way to send a message back to Earth. And because they realise that Wraith are coming to destroy them, and they see them. This is coming to destroy them. They're fucked basically.
Yeah.
And you're watching, you're feeling there's that scene at the end. They try what they do, and they all of a sudden just jumps to from the whole series being in Atlantis to back at SG-1, and Samantha Carter goes up, and the gate suddenly activates and then goes down again.
Yeah, it's only was it like 2.1 seconds they can activate the gate.
Yeah, and she's like, "We've just got a message from Atlantis."
Yeah.
And then the next episode was the cavalry turning up and arriving. That was just awesome, and I preferred it when it was more like an outpost that they could get to, but it wasn't easy. When it became like really easy to get stuff back and forth, I felt it lost. It felt like it lost a bit of its drama. I liked it when it was more like a frontier outpost where like everybody they had to rely on themselves to do everything. They couldn't rely on Earth just sending a new ship and stuff. So the idea of like, okay, we can have help from Earth, but it's going to take 6 months to get here.
Yeah.
That was great. When it was like, oh, actually, we've now got the gate network set up so we can get back to Earth in a few minutes. It lost it a little bit for me because I thought it's lost a little bit sort of frontierness. That felt this pioneer thing.
But at the same way, like, but they could get back in a second, but it would take him like months to get back again because they couldn't gate from Earth to Atlantis again.
Towards the end, they could, though, couldn't they? They set up that gate bridge, although that did get destroyed.
Oh yeah. At the end, sure.
Yeah.
That was the one that Samantha worked out as well. I love the cast though. I love the cast for the Atlanta show. Seeing Jason Momoa like as a young actor in that was fucking cool. Joe Flanagan, what's he? I can't remember.
Colonel Shepard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he plays that part really well. McKay.
Oh, he's brilliant.
He's fucking awesome. He plays that part really, really well. Taylor, not so much.
I like Taylor's character.
Yeah, but it was very,
Trouble is,
something about it, but it's old. Like,
they tried. I was never a fan of Ford, the Ford character. I mean, I know he sort of disappears, and you never really find out what happens to him.
Yeah,
never a great fan of him. They tried to, because obviously they initially tried to. They basically, I mean, Jason Momoa's character, Ronan, basically became like the Tilt character.
Yeah.
But he did work really well. I never was a fan of Ford's character. You had Robert Patrick in as the guy in charge though. Later on, you had Elizabeth Rear played by, I can't remember the name of the actress, but she was good, and then she got, things happened to her. Spoiler alert. And then Robert Patrick comes in, who I only remembered from Voyager, but he comes in and takes over the base as like an administrator, and
he's the guy that works for the IOA, Mr. Woosley.
Mr. Woosley, that's him, yeah. And he sort of like comes and takes over, and they think he's going to be.
I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Yeah, but I like that when it's all like seeing Rob Patrick again. I don't think I've ever been so upset as when
he was good at playing an asshole. Like when
he
comes in and have to investigate, he was like with all the dumb questions and all the shit, and actually turning out being a good guy.
Just doing his job.
Yeah. What was the guy that plays the doctor, Dr. Beckett?
Dr. Beckett. Oh, right. Spoiler alert for Stargate Atlantis season 3. Thank you. I cried when he got killed.
I did too, actually. I teared up big time.
Because I thought
he got blown up, and the way they made that whole episode, like where you're like, oh, something happened, and everyone's sad, everyone needs medical attention, and blah blah blah, and all of a sudden you figure out toward the end, oh my god, it was Beckett.
Yeah, I mean they saw these repeat of Janet's Fraser from SG-1. And when she gets killed in SG-1. In fact, I actually think as a character death, hers is more impactful because it just happens so quick.
Yeah.
There's a lot of build up to it. But in hers, she just stood there and just treating, and it's off screen, because it's off screen, you just see a shot come in and just take her out.
Yeah.
And she's so quick, like, what the? And that was just shocking watching that. It was like, oh, what did I just see happen? And yeah, that was really,
What's he called? Like the guy that played O'Neill. The guy I think isn't he the one
Oh,
that like made the whole thing?
Richard Dean Anderson.
Exactly, Richard Dean Anderson. Isn't he the man behind the whole thing? Like in terms of the series, at least.
He got
Like
towards the end. He got heavily involved in it. Yeah, he was towards the
yeah,
end. Yeah, heavily involved
yeah.
in it. Yeah,
It was a
no,
good show.
that was a really good show. He's one
I'm
of
torn in terms of whether or not they should make like do a reboot thing, because like a three movie thing. Oh my god, I think that could be cool. At least that would be at least that would be, because I don't think there's anyone that would like to continue the old stuff. But if they were to make a reboot and it was done well, I would take that. I would take that over nothing. You know?
I think it's been long enough now that you could do a new series in that universe. You know, have a new cast. You could pull back some of the people to like come back, because Samantha Carr can be quite high up ranking now. So if you could bring those back for like sort of cast wise, but I think you could do, if you did it, set it like this right time. Because when did Stargate issue 1 end? Was that 2013 that ended?
The universe.
SG1.
Let me check. 13. No, that was before then.
When did
It
that
has
end?
to be, because I was watching, I think, the stuff with the Ori and whatnot. I was watching that when Victoria was a wee baby, and that was in like it was born in 2007.
It ended, yeah. So let's have a look.
I'll look too.
2007.
See, there you
go. Right, so that's now what? Bloody hell, that's like 15. That's over 15 years ago. Fucking hell, Zabe, I feel old now. They could do another one set, 15 years later in modern times.
Yeah.
You could do that, and you could have a new casting, and you could easily have a new casting, a new team in, and you could still set it in Stargate Command. You could modernize it to show the fact that it's gone through they've modernized over years.
Stargate SG5.
Yeah, or like how about Stargate SGX? It's a specialist team. A specialist team. Who are basically perhaps the sort of like program has sort of been like on the download, but then perhaps it's sort of been on a bit of a download. Something happens that means they also realise the fact they need to perhaps gradually funding's been cut. Teams been got because it's like they're not getting the benefit they're getting out of the program, and then something happens.
No. They get a signal. They get a signal, and they need to figure out what it is. So they keep traveling the world to figure out what it ends up being from the ship from Discovery.
Discovery.
Yeah, the Discovery, the one from the universe.
Discovery. Sorry, man. When you said from Discovery, I thought you meant Star Trek Discovery. Hang on a second. No, I said the Discovery. Yeah.
Isn't it? No, it's not what it's called. Is it called Discovery? No, it's not. Destiny. Sorry, Destiny. That's what it's called. Yeah. But it's from that. That signal, and then they need to figure out how to get there.
Yeah. Or something. Yeah. Something along that lines.
Yeah.
Anything like that where you could basically, you could easily relaunch it now. You could pull some of the characters back and relaunch it. And perhaps the funding's been gradually been cut. It's not been mothballed. It's getting that way. But something happens. Perhaps Earth gets attacked.
Yeah, but by whom? Who's the enemy then?
We'll invent a new enemy. We can invent someone new. That's the writer's problem. That's their issue.
Yeah.
But new enemy, it could be anybody. I mean, the Gould have been done to death. The All have finished. You could invent somebody new.
But hang on, the Ori, they were supposed to be, in sarcastic air quotes, the good guys, the ones in faith and blah 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 blah, yeah. And where there's good guys, sarcastic air quotes, there's also bad guys. So what if there was another spin-off group of them that was like even worse?
The trouble is, the All the spin-off bad group from the Ancients, aren't they? So I think that one wouldn't flies over. Who's like a really evil group these days? Influencers. There we go.
They're up against Jake Paul.
Yeah, exactly. That's who it is. The YouTubers, all YouTubers with more than 10 million subscribers are the new bad guy in Stargate.
Yes.
But yeah, you could easily relaunch it now, and you could have a new car, and you could do it, and it'd be phenomenal having a new Stargate. And with writing and stuff, it could be done really well. And I think that'd be, and you could just carry on. You could almost carry on from.
I know who they are.
Who?
That's how they get the signal, dude. This is how it ties into the whole
Universe.
So the bad guys from there, those space alien thingies that they're fighting. We have never seen them in any other universe.
Yes.
Like in any other, but we never got like to figure out what the hell happened with them. To be honest, like toward the end. So maybe those are the guys.
The aliens capture somebody from Discovery, from Destiny, and work out where they've come from. Or they perhaps go really
that's
dark.
how they get the signal. That's how
really
they get
dark.
the signal.
They capture the Destiny.
No. Because they're all in hibernation, dude. They're all in the what's it called? Like they're super speed.
Don't forget. This is like 15. This is like several years later. They capture the they manage to intercept and capture the Destiny. Work out where they've come from, and they come to our galaxy.
Nah, they have McKay for that. He goes through the logs of that ship they shoot down that was trying to attack Earth, and they go through the logs and they figure out what the hell is this? This is like Destiny. But where are they? We lost communication with them like 10 years ago. What the hell? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Stuffs. And then everything goes nuts. They need to figure.
You could so do this. This would be awesome. A new Stargate series would be amazing.
Yes, I'd watch it. Definitely. And I know there's a lot of fans out there that would watch it.
Oh, definitely. If you could pull back, because let's be honest, you could have if you could pull Ben Bowder back and have him like as the perhaps general in charge, because it's been long enough he could be promoted to that role. You could have him. Oh, mate.
Oh, there'd be like these guys are trying to, because they probably shut down. Maybe they shut down the SG Stargate command, and then there's this guy that figures out something, and he is seen on a radar that there's something coming toward Earth.
Yeah.
He then gets a hold of Richard Dean Anderson on an elder care home or whatever, and he's like, "What?" And then or he does the "do."
Yeah.
And then stuff happens. They get the whole SG Stargate command up and running again, and then the spaceship comes, and then one of the smaller spaceships they shoot down. They get they go through the logs. They figure out what the hell Destiny. They fought Destiny. How the hell did they get here? Well, they didn't. They didn't fight him because so and so. They went through a black hole. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, mate. Have I sold you now on a new Stargate series? Rather than films. This is the most.
They can get a hold of Save 'em All through the Rant Nerds stuff. Pay up.
Come on. Who is the executive producer? Brad Wright, Robert C. Cooper. Come on, give us a shout. We've got this for you.
Ta-da! We can do this.
Yeah.
Stargate
SGX. There you go. A new team. Oh, mate.
Exactly.
I actually own a copy of before it got discontinued by Sony. I own a copy in all the source books they made a Stargate tabletop RPG where you play as an SG team, and I have all the source books for that.
Oh,
yeah. You get to go through the gate and
back when they were airing SG1 in Denmark, was on a Danish channel where they would air 2 episodes a day. But so let's say day 1 they air episode 1 and 2. Then on day 2 they would air episode 2 and then 3. So there would always be one rerun from the day before. So eventually, when I started watching it again, and I was like, after like a month of watching it, I was like, this is taking too damn long. I want to binge this stuff.
Yeah.
This is before there was any streaming. So I was like, now I need to figure out, can I import this stuff? Can I import it on DVD? I went in and I got the entire SG-1 and Atlantis on DVD on import, and binged the whole thing in like a couple of months.
Yeah.
All the episodes of SG-1 and Atlantis. And then when I was done with that, a couple of years passed by, and then all of a sudden, Universe. I was like, yes, finally some more. And then that died, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. Universe was a sad time.
We need more. Like they could reboot all the Star Trek stuff and whatnot. Why not? Why not Stargate, dude?
I remember there were 2 spin-off series that I actually quite enjoyed. You had Caprica, the spin-off from Battlestar Galactica, and you had Stargate Universe, and they all both died roughly with the same time frame. It was really sad, and I was like, oh, I enjoyed both of those, and they're both dead. Oh.
Yeah. I hate it when that happens. And then sometimes some of the shows, some of the good sci-fi shows, they die for no reason. It's like, nah, we don't want to take the risk with it. It's like, okay, but it's doing good in terms of like audience. Well, why?
Yeah,
there's still a risk. Blah blah blah.
I mean, people complain about like Netflix cancelling things, but it's always been like it. If a series doesn't like catch the zeitgeist in the first season, you're lucky to get a second season, and if that doesn't take off, then it gets cancelled.
They've done that a lot with certain shows. Like they cancelled they were doing a series within the Marvel stuff with Daredevil, Jessica Jones,
the Defenders,
Iron Fist, and all those. Yeah. They were so good. They were really dark and in a really good way. They were so good, and then they just canceled them. Eventually, Disney bought them up. Now, apparently, the Daredevil is coming back on Disney.
Yeah,
because they bought the rights for it, and now they're doing it with the same actors.
Yeah,
even the guy that played the Punisher, he's coming back as the Punisher again.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if they're rebooting all the series. I know I can't remember what her name is, but the one that plays Jessica Jones, she's also voiced opinions about it that she wanted to come back to play the part as well. Yeah, it was, but they canceled that. It was actually doing really well. Then they had I think there was a more small one, but they had one called The Warrior Nun. I watched that on Netflix. That was really good, really well made. Then they decided to cancel that. Everyone went bonkers for it, and they started making petitions and all this kind of stuff. Netflix actually decided that they were gonna end the series. They were gonna either make a mini, I don't know how many episodes, but a final season, or it was gonna be a final movie.
Yeah.
To tie it up, because the fans wanted it. So that's cool. At least they listened on that one. But my point is, if they can cancel something and Disney wants it and they want to reboot it and they can do it and they will most likely succeed with it, so Netflix could have done the same.
Yeah.
They could have kept it
Amazon
going.
saved The Expanse, didn't they? The Expanse was cancelled by Netflix and Amazon saved it.
Yeah, but it was funded by the director himself to begin with. When it got cancelled, he was like, nah, I'm going to continue this on my own. I'm going to fund this on my own. And then Amazon came into the picture. It was like, yeah, come to us.
That was because Jeff Bezos is really big into sci-fi, and he liked The Expanse, so he basically personally funded it.
Yeah. And that's amazing. I love seeing stuff like that rather than it dying off, that, it became something more. I'm actually, I still need to watch the last half of the season. I haven't seen the end of The Expanse.
Oh, I haven't either. I need to start from scratch, basically. I need to work my way through. I want to watch all the way from scratch and work all the way through again.
It's so good. That one's really, really good.
That's a really good series. If you like hard sci-fi, realistic sci-fi, The Expanse is really good. I'm really hyped and pumped for they're producing a Warhammer 40k TV series, and Amazon have got it, and it's been finalised now. It's been agreed that they're going to produce it.
Yeah.
Games Workshop, and I'm really because it's got Henry Cavill from The Witcher. He's like Henry Cavill. I love how he's one of my favorite actors because he's an absolute nerd. He himself has a Warhammer 40,000. He collects Warhammer 40,000. He collects and plays Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, he's a real gamer.
Yeah, he really is. He's a proper full-on nerd.
Yeah.
And I mean, he left The Witcher because he liked the fact they moved him to the source book so much. And he's going to be one of the producers of the Amazon TV show. I'm so looking forward to that. Actually,
He actually voiced. He has actually come out saying that he wants to do, like Red Dead Redemption as a movie or a series.
I could see it be done as a series. Yeah, easily. It's only, I mean, that's the else. Red Dead Redemption is just a cowboy series, so it's easy enough to do. I could see,
but it's because it's from a game. Again, it's something that he's into, so therefore it'll make sense, and he'll probably do it real well.
Yeah.
Because he did with The Witcher, a Highlander as well. I'm looking forward to that with him in it as well.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, Warhammer, cool.
Yeah.
They're also doing Amazon. They're doing a lot of things. They're doing a God of War as well, I think.
Yeah. Really going for it.
Yeah.
Biggest cost, bring on Warhammer. Yay. Right. Anything else from you, Zaber, before we wrap up?
No. That's it. I'll have more for the next one, I guess.
Cool. Thank you very much for everybody who's joined us this evening. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please come join us on our next one, which will be on the 14th of March. And I've got the date right because I'm looking at the calendar myself right now.
Yep.
At 6:30 UTC or GMT.
That would be
magic Danish time.
7:30 CET. So that's Central European time. That's Paris time.
Paris
7:30. Yeah.
Yeah. But what did the French know? And you can join us that. You can join us on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/randnerds or youtube.com/randnerds. You can check out, as mentioned previously, but if you missed it, you can check out our games night on the 13th, which will be at 8:30 GMT, 9:30 magical European time.
It is magical.
Yeah.
It is magical.
On twitch.tv/randnerds.
Yes.
And you can check out our website, randnerds.co.uk. So thank you both for joining us this evening. From me, the Suffolk Ram.
Same Mo.
We'll look forward to seeing you in the future.
Next time.
Yay. Bye, buddy.
Bye.